In this video, I'm gonna cover the top 3 credit cards in Canada during a recession. I'm gonna cover the pros, cons, and ultimately you can feel informed to make your own decision whether you should consider these credit cards during this hard time. To help you maximize your value and make your money go further, I have put a lot of thought and research into this video, so you will get value out of this video. Before we begin, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tony, and on this channel we talk about personal finance, sales, and entrepreneurship. If you're not yet subscribed, make sure to subscribe for videos that will upload 2 to 3 times a week. And hit the bell notification if you haven't done so already. Also, make sure to smash the like button. That will support the channel. It will help a lot with the YouTube algorithm. And with that out of the way, let's get into the content. For the disclaimer, I'm just a dude on YouTube. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. You should consult your own financial advisor. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, now that we're done the disclaimer, let's get into what you guys are here for. A few weeks back, I made a video on the top 5 credit cards for cashback in Canada, and times have changed, people's spending patterns have changed, so I've decided to make an updated video on the top 3 credit cards for recessions. So these handpicked credit cards will have very high earning ratios for groceries, gas, and so on, and recurring bill payments, all the essential stuff, and they will all have low or no annual fees. So these handpicked credit cards, I think, will really help people through this cash crunch, or people that are just cutting back on their spending just to save a little bit of money to help them make their money go further. The first card we have on the list is one of the winners we had from our last video. The top 5 credit cards in Canada for cashback is one of the three-way tie credit cards, which, by the way, if you haven't watched it, link above or down in the description. In the three-way tie, I actually forgot to mention the 4th credit card, the Meridian Visa Infinite Cashback credit card, which, by the way, most of you guys probably never heard about this card. All 4 of these cards have pretty high earning ratios on the essential categories like groceries, gas, and recurring bill payments, and they're all between 2 to 4%, so they're actually really high. However, right off the bat, these are 4 very similar cards that are probably targeting the same demographic. We can pretty much right away rule out both 2 of the 4 just because 2 of these cards actually don't have any sign-up bonuses at the moment, so we will be focusing on these 2 right over here. Sign-up bonuses are infinitely more valuable than the percentage of earnings. So I mentioned that in the past video. I'll link somewhere down in the description or above over there. But anyways, the TD versus the Scotiabank card. Now, these 2 cards are very similar, and honestly, you can't go wrong with going any of these, but personally for me, it's going to be a winner for the Scotiabank card, just because personally I wouldn't sacrifice 1% on both recurring bill payments and groceries for 1% more on gas. However, TD does have pretty good travel credit cards that you may want to consider product switching to in the future when everything gets better again, so pick your medicine. Now, both of these cards have no annual fee in the first year. It should be $120, but it's going to be waived for the first year, and on top of that, you're getting a sign-up bonus of 10% cash back for the first 3 months after you spend $2,000, which is a fancy way of saying basically you're going to get $200 in sign-up bonuses. Although it will be actually a little bit less than the $200 because the 10% is not on top of the 4% or the 2% in earnings. It's just replacing it until you hit the spending threshold. It's also worth to note that all Visa Infinite products have a minimum income requirement threshold of $60,000 personally. However, I do see like this being tempered with, for example, if you have a relationship already with TD Bank, they might be more lenient to giving you this credit card, and so is Scotia. So maybe if you bank with one of them, you might have an easier time qualifying for them. Next, we have a credit card I never thought I'd mention, the American Express Cobalt card. Now, I know a lot of YouTubers have talked about this card, and personally, I have been on the sidelines on this one. This is because it's high earning ratios on grocery stores and restaurants, but not all grocery stores and restaurants take them. So I decided to put this one in the video anyways, just in case you do shop regularly at a grocery store or restaurant that does take American Express. This card is really interesting because it charges you a $10 monthly fee instead of $120 annual fee. This is because this card is targeted towards millennials, and for millennials, $10 monthly fee is just like what your Spotify payment, your Netflix payment, rather than if they charge you a big $120 one-time fee, then you might consider canceling. Like the monthly fee, the sign-up bonus also has a similar structure. Basically, for the first year that you signed up, every single month you spend more than $500 on your American Express card, Cobalt card, which I think is quite reasonable. You will get a 2,500 bonus MR points. Now, I know you guys are asking me, how much is each point worth? Now, don't worry, I'm gonna get into that. However, let's just get the earning ratios out of the way first. Biggest selling point of this card is 5 point per dollar spent on groceries, restaurants, bars, and cafes, 2 point per dollar spent on transit, gas, and travel, and 1 point for everything else. Now here's the catch though. These aren't regular MR points, although American Express calls them MR points. These are actually MR select points. So the difference is, for example, American Express Gold or Platinum card will earn you regular MR points. You can basically use them for anything, transfer them to airline partners or anything like that. However, MR Select points, you are pretty limited to what you can use them for. For example, the best ways to transfer these MR points is to transfer them into like an airline program like Aeroplan. However, that's out of the question for MR Select points because these cannot be transferred to airline partners. So the best way to use these points is to transfer them into hotel partners like Marriott Bonvoy, or try using Amex's fixed points reward chart program. So you will find most of your value using points like these. Of course, for those of you that just want cash back, you can redeem these points for statement credits at a ratio of 0.7 cents per point for your everyday purchases, or 1 cent per point if you happen to book a travel, for example, for yourself, a relative, a friend, or something like that. Using these ratios, we can conclude a 5% to 3.5% cash back on all grocery store and dining purchases, not to mention for gas, travel, and transit. As good as they seem, it's still going to be better if you transfer them to Marriott Bonvoy or the other travel program, fixed point travel program that I mentioned earlier. However, the drawback is, again, not many supermarkets do take this card. However, if you do decide to shop at one that do, or if you do already shop at one that do, this is going to be a winner for you. Now, the reason I'm not a big fan of this card, despite a lot of the YouTubers, bloggers praising this card, is because yes, it has a high earning ratio for restaurants and supermarkets. However, if your specific supermarket does not take Amex, then this card is practically useless. On the contrary, the ones that do take Amex, they already factor in the merchant fee that Amex charges them anyways to the customers like you and me. So their prices are going to be a little bit higher anyways. On top of that, it being a MR Select points really doesn't help. It really limits the options you can use them for. At the same time, this is a recession video, so just in case you do already shop at a grocery store that does take Amex, then I would consider this card, and quite frankly, it would be a winner because you're already getting charged these fees anyways, so why not just take advantage of the cashback you're entitled to? Right? At the same time, it also gives you additional 30,000 points in terms of the sign-up bonus in the first year, assuming you do meet the requirements, which isn't too hard. Just spend $500 on the card, and again, these are the money that you are going to spend anyways, right? You don't want to spend extra money that you weren't going to spend, then you're letting the system play you instead of playing the system. You may want to scroll back and look at the earning ratios and do the math yourself, but personally, the $30,000 point sign-up bonus is roughly equals to, assuming you're using a 0.7 cents per point, which is, by the way, one of the worst redemption ways possible, you're still getting $210 in terms of value, which is not too bad. And as far as I know, this card has no income requirement. The third card is, I never thought I'd mention myself. I definitely never heard anyone else mention it, but with the downfall of the Rogers Quarterly MasterCard, which by the way linked above or down in the description to watch that video, comes the rise of a new challenger, BMO Rotary Cashback MasterCard. Just like the newly revamped Rogers Rotary MasterCard, this card now gives you a flat 1.5% cashback on all purchases on this card. However, you don't need to spend a $15,000 a year just to keep it, which I think personally is ridiculous. This card comes with a $120 annual fee. However, if you play your cards right, you don't ever have to pay that even in the second year. And let me explain how that works. So the first year, it does have an annual fee waiver, so you won't be getting charged the annual fee, which is great during a recession, during this time crunch. And on top of that, it has the same offer that the Scotiabank and also the TD has, the 10% welcome offer, obviously up to $2,000 in spend. As of the second year, all you have to do is open BMO's premium checking account, and basically having that, they will just rebate you the annual fee of one Rotary MasterCard, which this card happened to conveniently qualify for. And all you need to do actually is to just keep $6,000 into that checking account, and they will actually not charge you any fees. And on top of that, BMO will actually pay you $300 just to open an account with them. So you can think of this as a bank's checking account's version of credit card sign-up bonuses, which a lot of people do take advantage of. They do what's called bank account churning, just like credit card churning. It's basically the bank's version. Or I know what some of you are thinking, Tony, I don't have $6,000 laying around, what do I do? Well, the base cost of this account is only $30 a month, so you can still sign up, take the $300, pay $30 a month, and after like a month or two, after you get rebated the sign-up bonus, just cancel the card. Or not cancel the card, cancel the bank account. And if you really think about it, really for like 15 minutes of work, you just made yourself $300 in terms of bank account sign-up bonuses. On top of that, you got this really good credit card. I know what some of you are thinking, 1.5% cashback, really Tony, that's really not a lot compared to Tangerine's 2% cashback on 3 categories deal, or American Express's simply cashback preferred card, which gives you 2% on everything, which again, like mentioned multiple times earlier, American Express is not widely accepted everywhere, especially for grocery stores. As of Tangerine, a lot of people don't realize how it works. Basically, you pick three categories you will earn 2% cash back on, and everything else you will earn a 0.5% cash back on. However, what happens is, on paper it sounds pretty good, but what happens is in practice is a lot of people don't realize this. But if you actually look at your account, sometimes products may get miscoded or pushed to a different category, and as a result you won't be getting your 2% cash back. Now, I'm not saying everything will be miscoded. However, as a recession card, best recession credit cards in Canada video, I decided to mention this card because Costco is actually surprisingly not coded as grocery stores, or in fact not anything in that matter. So that being said, this card as a 1.5% cashback MasterCard will be the highest earning ratio you will ever get with a card that when you shop at Costco. So I decided to include this because I know during this situation, a lot of people are deciding to shop at Costco, and this card will help you maximize your rewards without making you spend $15,000 a year just to keep the card the second year. Rogers Rotary MasterCard. And of course, Visas and MasterCards are not accepted in Costco in Canada, so which I found is quite interesting because, fun fact, our neighbors in the States, they actually only accept Visa and not MasterCards. Now, if you want more fun facts, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification and smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. The downside of this card, as a World Elite product, you need to make $80,000 a year in personal income to qualify. However, just like the TD and the Scotiabank, I'm assuming they're more lenient if you do have a banking relationship with them already. So I know this was a lot of information, but let me just quickly break it down for you. If you shop somewhere that, for example, that's like Superstore that don't take American Express, I would go with one of the Visa cards, for example, the TD or the Scotiabank cards. Or if you shop at somewhere that takes American Express, for example, Safeway or Save on Foods, I would go with the Cobalt card. That would be your winner. And last but not least, if you shop at Costco that don't take any Visa or American Express, then I would go with the MasterCard, which 1.5%, which will be your best bet. So with that being said, I hope this video really did shine a light on the credit card world, because Personally, when I first started, there were thousands of credit card out there, and it really does seem overwhelming. So I really wanted to give back to you guys by shining some light into some of the good credit cards in the credit card world, because there's definitely a lot of bad credit cards. And if you did enjoy it, make sure to smash the like button to support the channel. Also subscribe if you haven't done so already to see more videos like this one 2 to 3 times a week on content of personal finance, sales, and entrepreneurship. And hit the bell notification so you can be notified as soon as I upload. And if you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Comment down below and let me know what is your favorite credit card out of these three, and if you're planning to get any one of these. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.